Yeah, this is a really horrible story. So, a principal from Toronto, now a late principal, this is a National Post article I'm reading, bullied over false charge of racism, dies from suicide. So horrible. Um, his name is, and I'm sorry if I butcher his last name, Richard Bilsko.
Yeah.
And people say he was born to be a principal. He was so happy in that position. And he had a really good career working for the Toronto school district. And according to a lawsuit, Bilsko, I can't say that, Biltstow, filed in court, his sin in the eyes of facilitators at the Kojo Institute was his questioning of their claim that Canada was a more racist place than the United States. Canada wasn't perfect, he said, but it still offers a lot of good. And for the rest of the training session and throughout a follow-up training session the week after, facilitators repeatedly referred to Bilstow's comments as examples of white supremacy. Can you imagine? And I just want to say, as a family, much of my family came here through the Underground Railroad, which was through white people helping us come here to Canada, which promised our family freedom and gave that and delivered that and actually gave us free land to come here, up east in Nova Scotia and things like that, where streets are still named after part of my family. So how racist is that history? So to have a principal come out and say something that is true, that should uplift all Canadians and have us celebrate the great things like the example I just said that we've done. He gets vilified, gets called a white supremacist, and he, of course, was off of his job. And even after, of course, there's nothing to hold against him. So even after all of the retraining and everything, he never got his exact position back. It's so sad. Friends and family said that go on.
Two struggle sessions they submitted this man to. Two brainwashing sessions where they tried to gaslight this poor man into admitting that he was some kind of racist, that he was some kind of neo-Nazi, and they broke him. And where are the consequences for these monsters? There are none. In fact, they're saying, how dare you blame us for this man's death? Well, I do blame you. I do blame
Absolutely.
you. If this man was undergoing some sort of acute mental health crisis, you guys made it worse and you pushed him over the edge. You owe his family and his community an apology, and you people need to reassess what sort of Mengele treatment you're giving to these people, gaslighting them into thinking that there's something that they're not. How horrific. And yet they're still saying, don't use this man's death to impugn the good work that we're doing. We will know you by the fruits of what you've done. And I know exactly the kind of people they are. They still they don't even have a moment of introspection. The introspection they try to force on innocent people like this man, they don't even take that for themselves. Like, they're not even stopping to say, what have we done here? My God, what have we done? They still aren't doing that.
Cowards, even if they are thinking that, they're not going to apologize, but they should, and they should set the way to change. These are the people educating the minds of the future with this trash. Canada is obviously not racist. That's why so many people come here from all religions, from all races. It's such nonsense. The family and friends, of course, are speaking out. They're saying the events that unfolded in 2021 weighed on him. Unfortunately, the stress and effects of these incidents continue to plague Richard. Last week, he succumbed to his distress. That was a statement from the family that was released on Thursday. And his lawyer, who we've interviewed before, Lisa Bildy, she does work with the Justice Center for Constitutional Freedom, says his family and friends have been left reeling and wishing they could have had the chance to convince him that he was loved, respected, and needed. And it's so sick.
I hope Lisa sues these people into the dirt.
Yep.
So they never do this to another family again. Never. And you know what? I'm just going to go out and assume that this has happened to dozens of other people.
Oh, easy. Oh, I've interviewed Jim
hearing
McMurtry.
About this one. Yeah.
What about Jim McMurtry out here in Abbotsford, BC, terminated? They immediately walked him out of class after he said something along the lines of, they were told to talk to the kids about the non-discovery of 215 remains of children as young as 6 years old. That was the narrative that came out. Not a single body has been discovered. But at the time, as a teacher, as a history teacher, he came out to the class and he said, if there was 200 and something bodies there, it would probably not be necessarily murder. It would be things like tuberculosis, illnesses, malnutrition. That got him marched out, immediately put on suspension for, I think, 8 months at first. And then it was just a witch hunt to go and comb his whole career to find anything that was, to just put against him. And he ultimately has been terminated. He's still fighting it. I'll update it. But if you look Jim McMurtry and Rebel News, you will find his whole stories because I've covered it a few times. But yeah, so there are more who we're not hearing this story, unfortunately, until it's too late, like what happened with Richard, or we're not hearing it at all, or maybe they're just changing their profession. And then the people left are the people either agreeing with these false, harmful narratives or too cowardly to say anything about it.
This last paragraph of the article, again, this should cause introspection for these racism accusation peddlers who need to do this to innocent people to justify their own existences and line their pockets. It says, in the meantime, Biltzko's death is a harsh reminder to all of us that hasty, vitriolic accusations of racism can contribute to real trauma experienced by real people, including those who spent their careers promoting multiculturalism and fighting discrimination. The public sector needs to seriously reconsider its practice of using taxpayer dollars to fund the disruption and confrontation of staff. Exactly. Exactly.
Well said. Yeah.
Jeez. This poor man and his poor family. It makes me furious. And again, this is just the story we know about.
That's a clip from something we call Rebel News Daily. It's our daily live stream hosted by my friend David Menzies, but the show also includes a rotating cast of hosts and special guests, including me. It's a great way for us to talk about the news of the day as the news is happening in an unscripted fashion, and it's an awesome way for you to interact with us as well. We stream every weekday, 1 p.m. Eastern, 11 a.m. Mountain, wherever you find Rebel News. See you there.